Harvard 020 200 milliwatts 2-channel CB handheld. Double range test across Richmond Old Racecourse versus the Intek H-520 Plus on 100 milliwatts.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Paul, Mike 0 Whiskey November uniform, or 26 Charlie Tango 730 if you catch me on 11 metres and PMR 446, or just the old red squirrel on CB and PMR 446 if you like. So, going to give this thing a range test. This is a Harvard 020. It's a 200 milliwatt handheld from the 1980s. This one is slightly different to the normal ones of these you find because it actually has channels 14 and 19 rather than channels 14 and 30. I will be using channel 14 for this test, although that's designated as a base station calling channel. Nobody uses it for that purpose, so that should be clear, even though I think there is a bit of a lift on today. So I'll be testing that against my Intek H-520 Plus at the 100 milliwatt setting. I've noticed that deviation on that seems to be quite quiet when it's at the 100 milliwatt setting, so not sure how that'll fare when I come to record that bit. So instead of doing the usual test back to the base station, which is never going to work because of the noise floor that I've got there, I'm going to test it back to the car using the Uniden Uniace 100 that I am getting back to full working order, and then I'll run the test again with the Thunderpole T-3000. See if 40 some years has made a bit of a difference. Well, actually that'd be about, when did I get that one? 2020, so 39 years. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, we're walking around the racecourse from this end to the opposite end. It's a lovely day for it. I don't have my Yaesu FT2D with me, so I won't be beaconing APRS. But that's just a small technicality. So, because I'll be taking two handhelds with me anyway, this Harvard, once I've changed the battery, and the Intek. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the Uniden Uniace 100 onto channel 14, and I'm going to run that off a jump starter because with the ignition off in this car, the cigarette lighter is off. It was the same on my last car as well, so I've not really had a car that's ever had the cigarette lighter on with the ignition off, so, you know. So I'll get that all connected up. The voltage, even though it's going to be 12 volts out of that thing, isn't going to matter too much. So I'll get that set up and I'll catch you when I finally get outside. Okay, so I'm at the back of the old grandstand, 768 feet away from the car. So I've got the radio we're going to test, the Harvard 020, and see if it gets back to base. It should do. So I'm actually quite high up here, so let's see. And I've told the speaker here too. That's probably just gone over the transmission. So this is a test of the Harvard 020 200 milliwatt radio from about 1981. Back to the car, 768 feet, I think it was, away. I'm actually quite high up from the car. This shouldn't be a problem at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just in case it is a problem, try that again. Try and do the tone burst as well. Okay. Right, so we'll see how that sounds, and then we'll go on to the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts. And I've told the speaker here too. That's probably just gone over the transmission. So this is a test of the Harvard 020 200 milliwatt radio from about 1981. Back to the car, 768 feet, I think it was, away. I'm actually quite high up from the car. This shouldn't be a problem at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just in case it is a problem. Try that again. Try and do the tone burst as well. Okay. It's a bit windy up here as well, so it's a bit of a annoyance. So there we go. So the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts. Same sort of test with the Intek H-520 Plus. Same sort of distance. You might be able to hear that I've left the 020 switched on. I'll be switching that off momentarily. So this is the Intek H-520 Plus. I'm transmitting on with the Albrecht CL27 rubber duck as it's closer in length to the telescopic fitted to the 020. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This should not be a problem at all. So because I'm high up and there's no obstructions, both those transmissions would have got there fine. As I walk along this old racecourse, I'm starting to go downhill. So that's what's going to happen. I'll turn off the 020 till I get to the next checkpoint. So I'll catch you when I get there.
Same sort of test with the Intek H-520 Plus. Same sort of distance. You might be able to hear that I've left the 020 switched on. I'll be switching that off momentarily. So this is the Intek H-520 Plus I'm transmitting on with the Albeck CL27 rubber duck, as it's closer in length to the telescopic fitted to the 020. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This should not be a problem at all.
Okay, I'm just shy of 1/4 of a mile from the car now, and there's a little bit of obstruction in the way, but it shouldn't be too much. Let's see how this fares. Okay, testing the Harvard 020 back to the car, just under 1/4 of a mile away, which receiving using the Uniden Uniace 100 at the moment. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is a test of the Harvard 020. 200 milliwatts quoted output. I wouldn't take that as gospel. So we'll see if it's got back to the car, and we'll try the Intek next.
Okay, testing the Harvard 020 back to the car, just under 1/4 of a mile away, which receiving using the Uniden Uniace 100 at the moment. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is a test of the Harvard 020. 200 milliwatts quoted output. I wouldn't take that as gospel.
Right, it's now the turn of the Intek. This is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts, or thereabouts, back to the Uniden Uniace 100 in the car. The antenna on the car is the Stereo High Power 4000, bolted to the roof bars. So it's a test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is versus a Harvard 020 from about 1981. Okay. We'll see how that's fared, and we'll get to the next checkpoint.
This is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts, or thereabouts, back to the Uniden Uniace 100 in the car. The antenna on the car is the Stereo High Power 4000, bolted to the roof bars. So it's a test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is versus a Harvard 020 from about 1981.
Okay, so back with a Harvard 020 again. There's a bit of a hill behind me now, so that means there's a bit of a hill in the way of the car. So here's the radio. It should be switched on. I can just confirm that with the squelch control. So yeah, that's switched on, that's going. Let's try it back to the car. Now, with this, you've got the microphone and the speaker kind of is kind of the same thing. So the speaker's doing double duty as a microphone. So that's where I've got to talk, unfortunately. So let's try it back to the car, see if it gets in, and I will do the tone burst this time, so I didn't do it the last time. Okay, so testing the Harvard 020 back to the car. I haven't actually checked the distance on this, but I will give you the distance in a moment when I actually look that up. So this is a test back to the car from my next checkpoint. I'll come back with the distance in a second. Okay, so I'll check the distance. So I'll just pause the video while I do that.
Okay, so testing the Harvard 020 back to the car. I haven't actually checked the distance on this, but I will give you the distance in a moment when I actually look that up. So this is a test back to the car from my next checkpoint. I'll come back with the distance in a second.
Okay, so the distance I've recorded is 0.35 of a mile to the car from here. So let's just put that onto another transmission. We shall do that. Okay, so it's 0.35 of a mile for this transmission, and I'm going to try and do the tone burst. This is going to be quite difficult to do because I've only got one hand because the other's holding the camera. Oop. Okay, that was the tone burst from this Harvard 020. Okay, so let's go on to the Intek now.
Okay, so it's 0.35 of a mile for this transmission, and I'm going to try and do the tone burst. This is going to be quite difficult to do because I've only got one hand, the other's holding the camera. Okay. That was the turn burst from this Harvard 020.
Okay, so now I'm onto the Intek, and that's 100 milliwatts, and we're at 0.35 of a mile. So let's see how that fares. Okay, so this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts at 0.35 of a mile away from the car, with a bit of a hill in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This doesn't actually have a tone burst on it because it's a nice modern radio. Well, it's also a very power hungry radio as well, which is why it's got fresh cells in it, as well as the Harvard. So I'll move on to the next checkpoint. We'll see how the Intek's actually done as well.
Okay, this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts at 0.35 of a mile away from the car, with a bit of a hill in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This doesn't actually have a tone burst on it because it's a nice modern radio.
Okay, so we're at 0.41 of a mile, and there is now quite a bit of a hill behind me. And that means that's also in between the car and the transmitting station, which is this Harvard 020 at the moment. So we're going to try again from here at 0.41 of a mile. Okay, so we're testing the Harvard 020 at 0.41 of a mile away from the car. That's 0.41 of a mile away from the car. So test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here comes the tone burst. Okay, so now I've done that, I will swap to the Intek and see how that fares. So I'll pause the video while I do that. So I've obviously got my hands full.
Okay, so we're testing the Harvard 020 at 0.41 of a mile away from the car. That's 0.41 of a mile away from the car. So test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here comes the tone burst.
So now it's time for the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts at 0.41 of a mile from the car. Let's see. Okay, we're testing the Intek H-520 Plus, 0.41 of a mile. That's 0.41 of a mile away from the car, with a bit of a hill in between the transmitter and the receiver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's also a bit windy here. It might not be picked up on the video, but it's certainly be picked up by the radio and transmitted over the air. Okay, so that's the Intek done at 0.41 of a mile with a significant hill. And I've just lost the boot off the antenna that's attached to the Intek, but that's fine. That's not going to affect the performance of that. So I will go on to the next point, which will be further downhill, because there's still a bit of downhill to go. I'm looking at it straight in front of me, because by the time I get to the other end, it'll be at Washington Road, which is actually lower than the other end. So I'll catch you at the next checkpoint.
Okay, we're testing the Intek H-520 Plus, 0.41 of a mile, 0.41 of a mile away from the car, with a bit of a hill in between the transmitter and the receiver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's also a bit windy here. It might not be picked up on the video, but it's certainly picked up by the radio and transmitted over the air.
Okay, so back with the Harvard 020. So we're now at just over half a mile here, 0.55 of a mile. The hill's still getting bigger and in the way, which we'll say, as I'm going down. And I could just see the Washington Road end now, but I'm not quite there yet. So I'm about half a mile away. So let's see how this is going to cut through, if it does. Okay, so it's a test of the Harvard 020 at quoted 200 milliwatts. It probably isn't. This is about just over half a mile from the car now, half a mile away. So it's a test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's send out a tone as well. Okay, and that was the tone. Right, so switch to the Intek and we'll see what happens there.
Okay, so it's test of the Harvard 020 at quoted 200 milliwatts, probably isn't. This is about just over half a mile from the car now, half a mile away. So test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's send out the tone as well. Okay, and that was the tone.
Okay, so it's the Intek's turn now. I'll switch it on, it might help. And let's see. So it's a test of the Intek H-520 Plus, 100 milliwatts. And we are 0.55, just over half a mile away from the car now. So let's test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, I just had to check it actually was transmitting there. So I wasn't 100% convinced, just trying not to tilt the camera into the sun either. Yeah, there's a bit of wind up here, that's why my hair's all over the place. One of the drawbacks of having long hair, the wind just blows it everywhere. So, go on to the next point and we'll see how those radios have fared.
So it's a test of the Intek H-520 Plus, 100 milliwatts, and we are 0.55, just over half a mile away from the car now. So test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right, at 0.66 of a mile now, back with the Harvard 020. And I'm going to try from here. I've got some trees around me, and obviously the hill's in the way, so this could be interesting. Okay, so we've got test of the Harvard 020 back to the car. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 at a distance of 0.66 miles away. I can actually see Washington Road from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so next is the tone. Okay, so tone coming up. Okay, so I'll switch to the Intek. Okay, so turn of the Intek at 100 milliwatts. Let's see how it fares. Okay, so we're testing the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts. I've left the Harvard 020 on again. I'll turn that off shortly. So it's a test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're 0.66 of a mile away from the car now. So it's a test back to the car. Okay, so hopefully that'll have worked. I don't know, my hair's looking alright state. It's the wind. So I'm out of the sun at the moment. I'm in the shades and in between a couple of trees here. So the next stop is, it may as well be, the Washington Road car park. So I'll catch you when I get down there.
Okay, so testing the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts. I've left the Harvard 020 on again. I'll turn that off shortly. So it's test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're 0.66 of a mile away from the car now. So it's a test back to the car.
Okay, so now 0.78 of a mile away from the car. Not quite a mile, but 0.78 of a mile. So I've got the 020 is on. Had to check that because I can't see the red LED on the battery test in the sun. So use the squelch to test it instead. So let's see if we're getting back to the car from here. This could be interesting because I've not only got the entire racecourse behind me, but I've also got the Gallowfields trading estate as well. So let's see. Okay, so testing the Harvard 020, 200 milliwatt quoted. I wouldn't take that as gospel. We are at 0.78 of a mile, and we're at the far end of the Washington Road car park of the old racecourse in Richmond. Okay, so I'm going to do the tone next. Okay, so the tone's now on, going to be on. Okay, so that's the tone sent as well, so I'll switch to the Intek and see how we fare, and then I'll go back to the car.
Okay, so testing the Harvard 020, 200 milliwatts quoted. I wouldn't take that as gospel. We are at 0.78 of a mile, and we're at the far end of the Washington Road car park of the old racecourse in Richmond.
Right, so I'm now with the Intek, and I'm now going to do a test transmission from that back to the car. So let's see how we fare at 0.78 of a mile, I believe it was. Okay, so this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus, 100 milliwatts at 0.78 of a mile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're at 0.78 of a mile. Or at least I believe that's what it was anyway. So this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus on 100 milliwatts. Right, so I'm going to go back to the car and see how that's all fared. That's a bit of a walk, so I'll see you in a little while, but for me it'll take a bit of time.
Okay, so this is test of the Intek H-520 Plus, 100 milliwatts, 0.78 of a mile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're at 0.78 of a mile. Or at least I believe that's what it was anyway. So this is test of the Intek H-520 Plus on 100 milliwatts.
Okay, so now I'm back out again. I've checked and seems as though that this has made the whole distance on the Uniden Uniace 100. But we'll have another look when we get back, or you lot have already seen it anyway. So, got the Harvard 020, I've changed the radio over to the Thunderpole T-3000 now. Let's see how that fares against this. Now, this is the first check-in again from, well, behind the old race course. So let's try that. It's not too far away. I think we said it was 768 feet or something. So let's give it a try. So this is a test of the Harvard 020 back into the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 behind the grandstand on the old race course. Okay, I'm going to pause and do the same again with the Intek H-520 Plus, and it's getting a bit windy now. So this is a test of the Harvard 020 back into the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 behind the grandstand on the old race course. Okay, video resumed with the Intek H-520 Plus. Let's see how that fares from up here. Should be fine as well. Okay, it's a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts back into the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to go to the next point and I'll have to remeasure it because I can't remember the distance, but I know roughly where I'm going. So I'll catch you when I get there. Back into the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I've measured the distance at 0.22 of a mile here. So I'm going to get the Harvard 020 out and we shall begin with that. Right, so here's the Harvard 020 and let's see how we fare from here. Turn it on first, it might help. Double check we're on. Yeah, we're on. So let's see. Okay, it's a test of the Harvard 020 at 0.22 miles away from the car. The car receiving its end is now the Thunderpole T-3000. So test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and I'll do the tone as well. Right, so let's try that with the Intek and see where we get with that. Okay, it's test of the Harvard 020 at 0.22 miles away from the car. The car receiving its end is now the Thunderpole T-3000. So test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and I'll do the tone as well. Right, so now it's time for the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts, same distance. Okay, so this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts at 0.22 of a mile away from the car. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's go to the next checkpoint and hopefully we'll have some results from there as well. Okay, so this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts at 0.22 of a mile away from the car. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so back with the Harvard 020. Not sure you can see it very well, so I've got the sun behind me now, which is a bit annoying. So I'm at 0.41 of a mile away, so not quite half a mile. So let's see how we fare. Okay, so a test of the Harvard 020 at 0.41 of a mile away from the car. The car's receiving with the Thunderpole T-3000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'll just put that antenna back down and put that back in the bag that I'm using to carry everything. We'll swap to the Intek.
Okay, so test of the Harvard 020 at 0.41 of a mile away from the car. The car's receiving with the Thunderpole T-3000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, now it's time for the Intek at 100 milliwatts. Let's see. Okay, at 0.41 of a mile, this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus back to the car. The car is now receiving on the Thunderpole T-3000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. So that's all done. I didn't do the tone on the Harvard 020 from this point, but that's okay. I can do it from the next point.
Okay, 0.41 of a mile. This is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus back to the car. The car is now receiving on the Thunderpole T-3000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'm going to have to try and position myself so the sun's not right in the camera. So I'm back on the Harvard 020. We've got this one here, and we're going to try from here, which is about 0.54, just over half a mile. So let's see. So okay, this is a test of the Harvard 020 back into the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car at 0.54 of a mile. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'll do the tone this time. And here comes the tone. Okay, so let's switch to the Intek and see how that gets on.
Okay, this is a test of the Harvard 020 back into the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car at 0.54 of a mile. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here comes the tone.
Okay, now it's the turn of the Intek. So let's see how that fares at 0.54 of a mile, just over half a mile away. Okay, this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus back to the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car, just over half a mile, 0.54 of a mile. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This radio is transmitting at about 100 milliwatts. I have to have it quite close to me because deviation seems to go very quiet at the 100 milliwatt setting on that radio. I have absolutely no idea why it does that. So let's go to the next point and see how we fare there.
Okay, so the test of the Intek H-520 Plus back to the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car, just over half a mile, 0.54 of a mile. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This radio is transmitting at about 100 milliwatts.
Okay, so I'm now at 0.67 of a mile away. Sun's still behind me, which is bloody annoying, but nothing I can do about that. You can't really control where the sun goes. So, hair's all over the place because of the wind, because it is windy up here. So, let's try the Harvard 020 back from here on the Thunderpole T-3000. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is a test of the Harvard 020 back to the car, where the receiver is the Thunderpole T-3000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'll do the tone, just bear with me 2 seconds. And here comes the tone. Right, hope I got the tone out. Set. So now I'll put this away until I get to the next stop, which is the Washington Road car park. And we'll pause and we'll do the Intek from here.
Okay, so this is a test of the Harvard 020 back to the car, where the receiver is the Thunderpole T-3000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'll do the tone, just bear with me 2 seconds. And here comes the tone.
And let's turn it on. Here is the Intek. Let's see how that fares. Okay, at 0.67 of a mile, this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 54321. This is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts at 0.67 of a mile, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so next stop is the far end of Washington Road car park, and then back to the car to see how that's fared.
Okay, at 0.67 of a mile, this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts at 0.67 of a mile, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, final point, far end of Washington Road car park. So I'll just turn on the radio. Yep, it's on. So Harvard 020. So let's see if that's going to make it from here. I will check the distance. I'll just pause the video while I do that. Okay, the distance is 0.79 of a mile, so let's give it a go. Okay, this is a test of the Harvard 020 back to the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car, 0.79 of a mile away. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and I'll do the tone next. And here comes the tone. Okay, let's put that away for the final time, and we'll switch to the Intek H-520 Plus.
Okay, this is a test of the Harvard 020 back to the Thunderpole T-3000 in the car, 0.79 of a mile away. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here comes the tone.
And here's the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts. Okay, this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts from 0.79 miles away from the car. Receiving end of the car is now the Thunderpole T-3000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'll put that away for the final time. Oop, try not to hit the tripod I'm using to hold the phone. And I will catch you a bit later on.
Okay, this is a test of the Intek H-520 Plus at 100 milliwatts from 0.79 miles away from the car. Receiving end of the car is now the Thunderpole T-3000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so this is quite some time later now. I'm actually back at home after looking over the footage, and it's actually been, well, a good few hours actually, because I've actually put it into the video editor as well. So this is the last bit to put on the end. So it's actually now coming up to 20 to 9, as it turns out, which actually surprised me. So it's been a couple of hours since I was up there doing the tests. So looking at it, it seems that the Harvard 020 is quite competent and did the whole course perfectly fine, no problems at all, which, you know, I wasn't really expecting it to do that. I was expecting the Intek to do a bit better in that regard. It was doing a little better, but marginally, despite the fact it was lower power output. So I'm wondering if that Harvard 020 is actually putting out less power than is stated, which is quite possible. And it also revealed that my Thunderpole T-3000 has a more sensitive receiver, well at the moment anyway, than my Uniden Uniace 100 that I'm working on repairing. So I might have to have another look at the receiver on that, I don't know. But it did flag that up, but both radios still managed to check in from all points, despite the fact I was dropping down a hill and there was a hill in the way of the car. So that actually did surprise me, so I'm quite impressed about that. So if you have been watching, this has worked out about just over half an hour long, maybe a bit longer than that now once I add this bit to the end. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. So 7-3 for now, and we'll catch you in the next video. So, you know who I am, Paul, Mike 0, Whiskey November uniform, or 26 Charlie Tango 730 if you catch me on 11 metres at PMR 446, or just call me the Red Squirrel on CB and PMR 446 if you like. So I'll try and get another video out very soon. Oh, and I'm a bit sunburned. No surprises there. 7-3 for now, guys.